Hi everyone, this is Sona Pogosyan and welcome to the Basement Tapes. I really am a curious cat, so this is where we're gonna explore new ideas, talk about any issues, talk about life really, and where your faith takes you, whether you have faith or you don't have faith. I hope you come here with an open mind and you enjoy this episode. Sona Movsesian, welcome to the Basement Tapes. I decided on my title of my podcast.
I like it because it makes sense because we're in a basement.
We're in the basement.
Yeah.
And prior to recording, I didn't know that you had a Wikipedia.
Uh-huh. I do.
Because I've already been stalking you since 2009.
That's impressive.
You're laughing.
Well,
but
because nobody knew me in 2009.
I knew you.
How?
I started working in TV and film when I was 16, 17. I'm a Burbank kid.
Okay.
So I did short films in high school, applied to film festivals, applied to USC Film, got rejected.
Mm-hmm. So did Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, beautiful rejection letter, by the way. I took the rejection letter and I was parading it around school. I was like, everyone's like, I got into Harvard. I got into UCLA. I'm like, I got rejected from USC. Look at this. They're like, she's nuts. She's crazy.
It's a badge of honor.
It's a badge of honor. I mean, I didn't get into the schools that I really wanted to get into, but I did get voted most likely to be on a reality TV show.
Okay, that's good. That's something.
Never was published in the yearbook because we didn't have time or pages because we were the centennial year.
Oh.
We had all the money. Our prom was on the yacht.
Okay.
We went to
Where'd you go to school?
Burbank High.
You had your prom on a yacht?
A 3-level story yacht with 2 DJs.
Oh my God.
My dress was custom made.
Of course.
My hair, I went with a bob cut with bangs the day of because I went to my stylist. I said, match my hair to the dress.
So you cut your hair off?
Completely. First time. Never had bangs in my entire life, not even as a child.
Did you like it? That's a big risk.
Makeup by Lilith was working in her mom's garage, did my makeup, didn't even know who she was. No Instagram.
I should know who she is.
She has a skincare line,
Oh,
a makeup
good.
line, and she kind of housed all the OGs of the Armenian makeup industry 10 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
So a lot of the people that worked there, that rented a chair out, ended up being celebrity makeup artists.
Oh my, she's an incubator for...
She was.
Yeah.
A lot of, yeah. Times have changed, but I kind of have seen many industries come and evolve within the Armenian community.
It's beautiful. I like hearing about things like that. And I feel bad that I don't know about a lot of that, but I don't get my makeup done very often.
You don't need to.
No, I do. I do. You're nice, but I do.
You don't need to. But I was like, I'm like, I need to research, dig deep about my guest's background. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't need to know anything because I kind of do already know everything. I don't need to read about it.
Yeah.
But while you were sitting here, I'm like, let's just like Google her name. And I was like, Sona, you have a Wikipedia. You're like, yeah, I do. Do you know that they put your dog's name under personal life?
My dog Oki?
Yes. Movsesian married graphic artist Tak Boroyan in 2018.
Oh my.
In Montebello.
Yeah. The details.
She announced on February 15 of 2021 on an episode of Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend that the couple are expecting twin boys.
Yeah.
She posted on her Instagram stating she gave birth on July 1st of 2021
Wow.
to her 2 sons, Mikey and Charlie.
Yeah.
1 week after Conan's final show. The family also has a dog named Oki. That's how your Wikipedia ends. And that information, I knew you got married. I didn't know what city. I knew your photographers.
Yeah.
Because you were doing some promo for Ani Photography or harsanik.com.
Yeah, I did. I did a thing for harsanik.com after the wedding, but also Ani Studio, which were our wedding photographers, they put together this really great recap of our day. And I think because of the YouTube algorithm, the last time I talked to them, they said that it had been viewed 1,000,000 times. And I think it's because people sometimes search for videos of me and Conan, and then they'll stumble upon this Ani Studio video. So I was so excited for them when I heard that. I was like, it's weird that so many people saw this very kind of intimate video that I have where I'm like celebrating a really beautiful day with my friends and family, but
I watched that video 20 times. I did. I was a hawk.
They did such a good job with it.
Well, I used to assist the makeup artist 10 years ago again at the studio.
So makeup by Lilith.
No, I was assisting makeup by Harush.
Oh, okay.
So she went to do Kim, J-Lo, Christina Aguilera.
Oh my, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Everyone. Like the people that she was looking up to as makeup artists, she ended up taking their spot if they were not available.
Wow.
Like I remember we would study the books, Scott Barnes, How to Contour a Face.
Yeah.
And she took Scott's class in New York, and then 5 years later, Scott's not available for J-Lo, so she gets booked.
Oh my
without an agent, without a manager, all thanks to Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so impressive.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Because I've had my Instagram since 2011.
Uh-huh.
And so has she. She's always been the forefront of technology, so it kind of worked out. But
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, you know.
But your social media presence is like, if I were to rate it out of 10, it's like a 4.
Yeah, I don't do
maybe a 3.
I would even rate it a 2. Honestly, it's rough. You know why?
There is no rating.
I don't. So I canceled my Twitter because I just couldn't keep checking it, and then Facebook, I don't think I've logged in for the last maybe 2 years, maybe a year and a half. I haven't logged in.
Uh-huh.
And then Instagram, I again didn't really check my numbers. And then at one point I checked and I saw that I had over, I think 100,000 people. And it made me very scared.
Why?
I think it's just, it's a lot of pressure. You know, before you're like posting up for like 50 of your closest friends and you're just sort of like, here's a dumb picture I took. And now it's like, oh, wow. I either need to post a lot or I shouldn't post at all. And most of my life now is just my kids. And like, I just don't post pictures of them anywhere, you know?
A lot of people don't.
I know my kids are cute. I know I don't need people to tell me that.
148,000 followers.
Okay.
And life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter.
Yeah. That's
Is that
Don't Rain
something?
on My Parade. It's a song from Funny Girl that Barbara Streisand would sing.
Oh.
And now it's Leah Michele.
I love a good Barbara song. My friend is a massive fan.
It's
Last time you posted was June 2nd. That's not bad. What are we today? June.
Did I post or was I a collaborator on a post? That's the question you need to ask
You did
yourself.
not post. You are actually correct. Someone posted and tagged you. You are the worst. You really are the worst.
It's not even that I'm bad at it. It's that my life is actually shockingly boring, that I have nothing exciting to post.
Speaking of shockingly boring, nothing exciting to post, this is going so crazy right now. I don't know if I should say it, but I'm going to do it, okay? There's going to be an entertainment factor here.
Okay.
Speaking of Instagram, life's boring. There is someone that I met in Vegas.
There's already a story that starts off with, there's someone I met in Vegas is going to be a good story.
5 years ago, very nice person who sends me almost every day a video of them singing in their car and dancing to like an R&B or 90s song.
Oh, why? Just
no clue.
Just DMs that to you?
Yeah.
Oh, he's cute. Who was this a romantic thing?
I can't. No. Very nice. He's a realtor.
Is he trying to impress you?
I don't know. No. I think he
is.
It's been going on for months. I think he is. Because I don't respond.
You do. Do you like him? Do you do a heart?
Like,
every day?
Almost. I showed my mom the other day.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, he's so handsome.
He is really
Why don't
cute.
you date him? And I said, he's probably sending this to 10 other people too.
But he's waiting to see who's going to respond.
For what?
I don't know. Maybe he's looking for love. Where does he live? Does he live in LA?
No, he lives up in NorCal.
Okay.
Boring.
No, it's not. That's, people with money live in Northern California.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
With money live in Southern California.
They do. Yeah.
So if you're ever bored, you mentioned something about bored. I could add you to the group chat.
What I'm saying is nothing in my life is exciting enough for me to post anymore. And then people the most exciting thing in my life is working with Conan and the people we get to interview, and they post for me. And then I just repost that stuff. So
What if you start reposting his videos
who's that guy?
on yours?
I feel like he'll be very hurt by that because he's like, I don't know who you are. Or maybe I would be like, don't you remember we met in Vegas? And he'll be like, oh yeah.
A segment of him dancing every week. Gosh, if you're going to be doing that, just go and try to go viral.
Why?
What's the effort for?
Well, because he wants to send it to you specifically. Because I think that you are... we're missing parts of this story. I think that you guys had a connection, and I think he's holding on to that connection, and I think he's sending you videos to just let you know he's thinking about you.
That's creepy.
And you haven't responded, but he's like, I'm still going to do it because we had a thing.
5 years ago?
Yeah. You're the one that got away.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Let's talk about your time with Conan. You guys are still working together. You're on a podcast with him. Mm-hmm. I have your Sirius XM radio saved on my Jeep.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So I listen to that.
So you listen to our podcast gets replayed there all the time.
I listen to that and I listen to Howard Stern.
Nice.
Those are the two talk shows that I listen to.
Howard Stern is probably, I'm saying this even working for Conan, probably one of the best interviewers, if not the best.
He's so real.
I think Conan is the best. I think I should specify that. I work for him and he's my boss and
Be
he's
careful.
the best.
You haven't gone fired yet, but maybe this is a chance.
I know. But Howard is, I don't know if you know this, but Howard Stern wrote a book where he had all these old interviews that he did. And then he said Conan was his favorite interview of all time.
Probably.
Yeah. They had this one really kind of special interview years ago.
Is it the 90s? In the 90s?
No. This was during my time working for Conan.
Before he left the network? Or maybe after when he was doing
when we had the TBS show and we went to New York and Conan did Howard.
Yeah.
And it was a really good interview. And then Howard then wrote a book and said that his favorite interview was Conan's interview with him.
Yeah. It's hard not to be entertained at all when you're listening to Conan.
That's true. And I'm saying this as someone who's worked for him for 14 years now. He is probably one of the most decent human beings I've ever met and one of the smartest people I've ever met. And he is by far the funniest person I've ever met. So, I wouldn't keep working for him if he wasn't a good person, but he's also just very talented.
You could tell he's a good person.
Yeah.
I started watching Conan when I was 7.
Yeah, that's early.
Because that's when we got the TV in the bedroom.
Yeah.
My brother and I. So I would watch BET, MTV, and then at night at 11, it was Conan or Jay Leno.
That's great.
So I grew up with SNL. I grew up watching a lot of older generations. They're not older but
Well, they are. It's... Conan was on TV for almost 30 years.
Yeah. So when he came to LA, I was the first one in line. I bought a mug, saw him do his TV show with my mom and my brother. Were huge fans.
Wow.
And I needed a guardian to allow me in there.
Yeah, you do.
I did that, and then I was obsessed with TV and film when I was 15, so I kind of fell into that, and I started working at Warner Brothers when I was 19, 18.
You were an intern?
I was an intern. They did not pay me, but prior to that, I was at HBO.
Wow.
Working on Big Love, getting paid $25 an hour.
What?
In Santa Clarita.
Jeez.
For season 4 or 5.
So you've already had, you've worked for big makeup artists. You worked for Warner Brothers.
Talent. I scouted talent. I've booked talent. I've produced. I've even gone into the music festival game. I've pitched shows, told people what to wear and what not to wear.
You're a multi-hyphenate.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a producer.
Okay, I can see that.
That was my thing. Executive producer, hire the right people. So I knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I worked in editing, costume, you name it, contracts. I thought about going to law school. I did legal clearances and product placement for 5-6 years for a lot of networks, HBO, Netflix, you name it, I've done it. And then I just basically left the industry because I got really jaded. I was 27, 28.
You're too young
32
to get
now.
jaded.
I was done. I was in it for 10 years. I wasn't making enough money. I didn't like the way I was being treated. I couldn't really be myself. So I was like, peace out. I'm done. I'm going to tech. I go to tech. I make 6 figures. I move out. I travel. I like how the money's flowing in, but I'm not fulfilled.
Okay.
So
what's the plan?
So my priest called me. He's like, you need to start your own podcast. I said, I'm in the middle of my depression. Can you call me back in like 4 months? So we reconnected. And I said, well, why me? He's like, because you'll say things that people are thinking, but don't have the guts to say it.
Okay.
And like you love pushing boundaries. And I think if you speak to just whoever, people will come. And I think you're talented in a way where people feel comfortable with you and they're vulnerable and you have that. And I said, okay, whatever, I'll give it a try. Like, let's do 8 episodes. So we're like 11 episodes in and I'm learning how to edit again. But I decided I don't want to ever work for corporate.
Yeah.
I don't want to be legal. And I decided I want to be talent because I've scouted talent. I see talent. Anyone that I point out ends up getting signed and being massively huge. And then I went to like this 2-day aptitude testing for my natural abilities. The first thing that they told me, they're like, you need to be a talent manager.
Okay.
Or in music, you have an aptitude of 99% for music. Do you play an instrument? I said no, but I know I have the gift.
Have you ever worked in music?
I did. You
didn't like it?
I loved it. I love the music weirdos.
Why don't you?
Those are my people.
Why isn't that what you're pursuing?
There's no money. There's no record.
Money in
there's
music?
no record deals. I mean, there's no record sales.
You want to sing or you want to manage?
I want to be like a Scooter.
Oh boy. Okay.
Like, give me a little Justin Timberlake, Ariana Grande, Selena Gomez, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Or give
only
me
a little bit of those.
Or give me a Red Hot Chili Peppers and his new management.
Yeah. Okay.
I dabbled into it, but I decided it's a big boy game. There's
it is,
not
but it
a
always
lot of
takes
girls.
I know, but
young.
It takes one girl to change that. It really does. One woman to change that.
Yes,
it does. And I think that a lot of things were men's games, and then it took one, woman who is headstrong and who knows what she wants and is determined and ambitious, and then they changed that. So
enough about me, but you being an assistant, Conan has assistants prior to you.
Yeah.
But they did not have the success that you've. So what were you envisioning?
I just thought I was going to be his assistant for like a few years and then move on to something else. No one thinks they're going to be an assistant for 12 years. I've been working for him for 14, but I don't do his day-to-day assistant stuff anymore. But I'm still technically his assistant because I did it for so long. But I think that what you're talking about is finding something you like and being fulfilled by it, right? That seems like what you're chasing.
Yeah, but making enough where you don't feel like you are like making ends meet in LA. And especially being Armenian, come on.
I know.
The car, the house, the dog, the clothes, the funerals, the weddings.
It's true.
The birthdays, the vacations.
It is, but we can sometimes be a little too extra, Like, do you need a car that's like $200,000 or can you just get by with a car that's like 50? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I think that like for me, I've never been the type of person who's needed a lot of money. I just haven't. Like, so I was able to just get by on like an assistant salary for a while, just working for Conan, and he was generous to me. And then eventually I think I did get to a point where I was making a good living for myself and I was comfortable. But it wasn't, for me, it was more like, do I like going into work every day? Am I working with people I like? Do I feel like the things that I'm saying are being heard by people? And do I feel like they're being valued by people, So it's a lot of like, am I being fulfilled that way? And I was. So I was fine with it. And, like I just let it kind of organically grow into something else. So like my dynamic with Conan has always been very unique. It's been really silly. We're like a big brother, younger sister kind of dynamic. And so over time they were just like, let's just put a camera on it and see what happens and then see how people respond. And people were very responsive to it. So it just kind of came organically, but I never thought that this is where my life would eventually lead,
And that's the best part about you, because Conan goes, we'll do this massive show at a theater and you're there. And then afterwards it's done. And there's like this crazy energy, this rush that you get when you're on stage with people applauding and whatnot. And you're like, so like, you guys want to go grab a burger or something? Yeah. And he goes, Sona. Like, where is your brain? Where's your mind at? Like, you're just like, you guys want to just go grab a cup of a beer right now? I'm like, what? I think that's why you're successful.
Well, I think that a big part of it too is what you're doing, I think is really important, which is you're trying everything that comes your way. Like you're interested in something, so you're like, I'm going to try that. That sounds interesting. I'm going to try that.
That's why I haven't gotten anywhere.
No. That's
for 32 years.
Don't even say that. I think that you've accomplished more and you've dipped your toes into things more than most people your age. And I think that's something that's really cool. And I think that you need to like really realize how special it is that you tried a lot of things and the things that you're interested in and what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy. And then for me, it was, this job makes me happy. I like working for Conan. I like working with the people that I work with. Did I ever envision myself as an assistant for this long? No, but I like it. So I'll just keep doing it and it'll lead to other things, which is what eventually, like what happened with me. I started off as an assistant and then it led to other things. And I think that just sort of organically came from me just really liking it. So I don't know. I mean, I think that, you came here to do 8 episodes. You've done 11 already. So I think that you really just need to like figure out what it is about what you're doing that makes you happy. And if you keep doing it, eventually something will come out of it.
I could do this for hours.
Yeah. You're natural at it. You really are. You're a very easy conversationalist.
Thanks. I like to also make people laugh.
Yeah.
You were sitting outside on a bench.
Yeah.
And I was like, lady, you can't sit here. And you're like, I'll see you in a minute. I was like, oh, she's so cute. No, but thank you for that. We'll see where that goes. I just want people to laugh, enjoy, have a good time.
Yeah.
And
you're Armenian. It's what we do. You're hospitable.
Oh, I have to be.
You have to be.
It's like breathing for me.
It's part of who we are as a people. We're very good at making people feel comfortable. We're very good at making people feel at home and welcome. And we're very easy to talk to. And I think those are some very sort of traditional Armenian qualities that I think every Armenian has.
I agree. And that's why I think you and Conan have such a great chemistry and dynamic, because I was thinking when I first started seeing you guys on screen together, I said, had it been anyone else, it wouldn't have worked, because I understand her psychology and I kind of understand his psychology, watching him and just being part of the industry. You need that like fire. And it's really difficult to sometimes come across an Armenian that doesn't have a fire burning in their soul. A lot of the time. You might not see it on their face, but it's in there somewhere.
I mean, who knows if another Armenian girl worked for him, she'd probably be in the same place, because there's something that's so common in all of us that I think that he really responded to I never hid who I was. I never was like, call me this name, which is easier to pronounce for you. It was like, no, my name's Sona Movsesian. You just have to learn how to pronounce it. And I think that I like openly talked about him, about Armenian issues. I bought him a shirt that says Yerevan from an Armenian.
From Arad the Rat.
Yeah, Arad the Rat. I bought him a shirt that says Yerevan. He wore it proudly when he was shooting something.
I remember that. Everyone went crazy.
I didn't even ask him to wear it. He just wore it because he wanted to and he liked the shirt. And I think that after we traveled to Cuba and he was like, people were like, you can go anywhere in the world. It was our second travel special we were going to shoot, and he could go anywhere in the world. And he was like, let's take Sona to Armenia. And it was his suggestion. And it's because I never hid who I was from him. I never was like, oh, I can't let Conan know I'm, this ethnic girl. It was like, I can't hide it from him. I can't hide it from anybody. It's just who I am. So he really responded to that. I have to give him props for that too. I mean,
really smart move. Very different.
Yeah.
And then people followed after he did that.
Yeah.
A few people did.
George Clooney did.
Listen, Elton John.
Yeah.
George Clooney.
I mean, they're big names.
The Kardashians.
Yeah. We went after the Kardashians, actually.
He went after.
Yeah.
The original OG. Do you know who that is?
That went to Armenia?
In the 90s.
Bourdain. Oh, no. Who?
Cher.
Oh, my mom.
Cheryl.
She's my mom.
She's amazing.
My mom, my other mom, not Cher. My other mom.
Your biological mother.
My biological mom, Nadia. She and I went to see Cher in Vegas with my best friend Veronica and her mom. And it was the four of us.
Oh
and we
God.
went, and I can't tell you how much fun we had. Like, it was.
Were you drunk?
No, I was with my mom, and she doesn't like it when I drink too much, but I had a few drinks, but I wasn't drunk. My mom, I do so many things to embarrass my parents, and
that's the last thing on the
getting
list.
drunk at weddings is one of them. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna
sit this one out.
I'm gonna play it straight in Vegas. I'm gonna let her see me in my sober way, just enjoying my other mom, Cher. Yeah.
Have you met her in person?
I wish. She's my white whale. Every time people are like,
Purple squirrel.
Who do you want on the podcast? I'm like, Cher. That's who I want. I want to meet and take in Cher's scent. That's all I want.
Okay. Whoever gets her first, it's probably you.
It could be you, honestly. Like I've tried everything.
And?
Well, I mean, when I say I've tried everything, I mean I've just asked everyone who works on the show, on our podcast. I'm like, can you guys please book Cher? And I mean, I know Coden's met her maybe a couple times.
She doesn't really do press.
But she just doesn't do anything. She doesn't do press.
She did the Ellen thing at Dry Bar.
I don't know that.
During Mamma Mia 2 or something.
Uh-huh.
In Burbank. That's the Dry Bar I go to. Mm-hmm. Right across from the studios. That's the last thing she's done.
I'm sure of it.
And now she's dating some 20-year-old guy. It's a scam. I don't believe it. But
you don't think she's dating him?
I heard a friend told me that they're family friends. It's a PR stunt.
For him?
For her.
She doesn't need PR stunts. She's
Apparently
Cher.
she still does. Oh. Well, now she's never coming on this show after that.
I know. Yeah.
Cher, I love you.
I know. We should just be like, Cher, you know what? You can date 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. It doesn't matter, girl. You do you.
You do you, boo.
I still love you, Mom.
I saw that Vegas show. Four of my friends.
It's great.
We were an hour late.
Come on.
My friend could not figure out. She's the worst person to travel with, my best friend.
I would have left her.
She Ubered.
I would have left her. I would have been like, girl, you finish getting ready. We're on our way.
So we were like 6 shots in of tequila in the middle of the day. Mm-hmm. She's like, I just bought us Cher tickets. I said, when is it? She's like, it's in 2 hours. So we go to the hotel to get ready, and we all get an Uber with her mom.
Oh my God. I love that.
With her mom. And
Is mom 6 shots in too?
No.
Okay.
But she had Bloody Marys earlier that day.
Oh, everyone's just feeling good.
Boozy. So we end up she ends up calling the Uber, puts in the wrong address. We go to like MGM.
Oh.
Where it's at MGM at the park or something,
Yeah, I can't remember.
closer to New York, New York.
Yeah.
So we get there. And she's like, this is not it. And then she's very tech challenged.
Oh.
So she doesn't know how to get access to the tickets because she never made a profile. She never downloaded tickets. She never logged in. So security is there trying to help her while one of our guy friends is with us. He's trying to help her figure it out. Her mom is totally cussing her out. My other friend is super drunk and she's dancing in the middle of the hallway.
Okay.
And I'm Snapchatting everything.
Oh, good. That's good. This sounds like a
So we're so late.
great Vegas trip.
We're so late that they gave us the handicap section. They're like, your seats are no longer available.
Oh, no.
So we're giving you the handicap section.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I thought I had my own suite.
Oh, my God.
And it was like foldable chairs. No one's in front of you. No one's around you. It's just you and the stage, like on the second floor.
That's great.
And we just, wow.
Yeah, she was amazing.
She's like 80 or 70 something.
She's 70s. I think when I saw her, she was in her 70s. And just the outfits that she's wearing, the way she's moving. I'm like,
I just need to know who her plastic surgeon is.
I don't know if she'll ever give out that info because
that lift.
It's over the years, just the flawless skin that's existed.
This
for
whole
over the
episode
years.
could be about Sharon.
I'm fine with that. I am. I just want to touch her skin. Like I want to get close enough to her to smell her and touch her skin. Those are my only.
I
want to
brush her hair.
Okay. All right. I'll do that too.
And maybe see what like moisturizer she uses on her skin.
Yeah.
Ends up being like Kiehl's.
She has some like lab that makes her own lab like moisturizer. She has a lab with scientists in her house.
Wait, you know that?
No, I don't. I'm making it up because it's not available to mortals. Like what she uses is not available to us mortals. It's only available to share.
Well, another person I'm kind of obsessed with is Gwen Stefani, and I was at a point trying to be Gwen Stefani blonde.
Oh.
So I got
like a platinum blonde?
Yeah, so I got there and the problem was the roots.
Oh, yeah.
And she's Italian and she has dark roots. So I Googled what this formula is that she's using, and her colorist of 20 years went to Germany and went to Europe. So basically he created a formula specifically for her blonde roots for every 2 weeks, and that's why she's been able to be blonde for over 20 years without damage, honey.
No, there's some damage. There's gotta be some damage. Like to bleach your hair that often, all the time.
Sense no doubt. Don't speak.
I know. That's gotta be
I know what
problematic.
you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, she looks amazing and she's beautiful and I'm sure she's incredibly healthy. I just can't imagine.
I heard she's vegan too.
Yeah, I just can't imagine what that does to yourself, right? Bleaching your roots
My mom has been doing it for like 15 years.
Really?
Yeah, it's a thing. I mean, the formula that he has, European anything.
It's better.
Anything outside of the U.S. because of the regulations and the laws.
It's all better. It's all better.
Everything. Have you, like, even in Armenia, you could eat a bowl of pasta every day and lose 10 pounds in a month.
No, here they put garbage and everything because they can get away with it. It just is. I mean, I didn't realize it until I had kids. Yeah. Well, until I had kids. It's their regulations for what's considered organic is so much more stringent than it is here. Plus, they have, a list of so many things that you can't put in products. A list of all these things that are banned from their like everyday products. We don't have that. We have a much, much, much shorter list than they do. So some of the things that they put into like laundry detergent and soap and like stuff you put on your face, they would ban it in Europe. It would just not fly there. I think it's very different. Like people really have to be careful. I didn't realize it until I was older. I wish I knew. I mean, the amount of stuff I probably put in my body, who knows? Jeez. Because you did makeup.
Yeah, but I love the chemicals in my makeup. I'm not about clean makeup because it has bacteria in there and you could have allergies. And I've had bad experiences with like organic makeup. So I
Yeah.
love my chemical, fully loaded mascara from Lancome.
Okay.
Give it to me.
And you know what? Gwen Stefani's
You know
hair
what?
is a big part of who she is.
Her
And
style is unreal,
It is.
unmatched. And she's like 50,
I mean,
40, 50. And she's dating a guy 10 years. She's married to Blake Shelton, who's like 10 years younger than her.
is he? I didn't know he was that much younger.
Yeah, it's like this new thing. Everyone's young. Everyone's dating younger.
Guys have been doing it for so long, so girls should be able to do it too. Right?
Yeah. Do you think age is nothing but a number?
Well, I think it is up until a certain point. Like, let's not get down to 16, right?
No.
Yeah. There are laws in place for a reason.
Yeah.
I think that the only thing I worry about when I see big gaps between people's ages is what do you have in common? I dated younger guys. I dated guys much younger than me.
How young?
10
What's
years
the gap?
younger.
That's the best.
Yeah, I dated a guy 10 years younger than I was once. And it is hard to find things in common with them. Like, what do you talk? Even the 10-year gap, there's a lot that happened there. There's a difference between growing up on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and growing up on Barney and Power Rangers. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference. I was a reading Rainbow Mr. Rogers kid, and I was dating a Barney Power Rangers
But I was
kid.
both.
You can't be both.
I was both.
No, you can't. You're not. You weren't. No, I think you want to think you were both, but you're not both. You're not. 32-year-olds? No. I mean, hold on. He finished, so you're 8 years younger than me because I just turned 40 in October. So he finished his show in 2001, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
That was his last
I was
show.
in elementary.
You were too young, and he only had
I was too young.
You were
He
too
hasn't-
young.
Well-
He didn't impact you the way he impacted me. You can't take Mr. Rogers from us.
Welcome to
He's
Can
ours.
You Be My Neighbor?
See, it's won't you be my neighbor, first of all. It's already we know you're an imposter. So you are a Barney kid probably. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. He gave us the cleanup song, which everybody still uses.
Clean up,
See?
everybody.
That one you
clean
know.
up.
That one you know.
He goes, and a big something hug from me and you. Big purple hug.
I
something.
wouldn't know. Yeah.
I was a fan. I wish I was one of those kids.
Where are those kids now?
Well, one of them was Selena Gomez.
Oh, okay. So I think she's doing
She's
okay.
fine.
No idea she was a Barney kid.
Yeah. The other ones, no clue. But
It's like being a Mickey Mouse kid.
love my Mickey Mouse kids. Grew up on Mickey. I'm a Disney, Mickey Mouse, NSYNC, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake.
Was Kids Incorporated a thing when you were younger?
No.
Kids Incorporated. There was like a music
No, but a
thing.
lot of Nickelodeon
Yeah.
and a lot of rap music videos.
Okay.
Like
we took a
Juvenile.
turn. Okay.
I would make my dad go to the Virgin Record store in Burbank, and I would buy the new Diddy album, G Unit, Lil Kim, Tupac, whatever.
And he was fine with it?
Beyonce, everyone. Destiny's Child.
No, but he was cool with it, your
Ja
dad?
Rule.
You
So
gave
it
your
would be
dad
like
a CD?
10 CDs, albums, stacked it up at the checkout. He's like, what is this? I seen Ja.
Yeah.
Dad, it's my music. He's like, it says explicit
Yeah.
18 and over. He's like, you're 12.
Yeah.
I said, just do it. And he did.
He just did it?
My parents are probably the chillest, most flexible people I've ever met. They got divorced, which was a major benefit to me
Oh, okay.
because I could do whatever I wanted to do. If I couldn't get it from my mom, I would get it from my dad, vice versa. Neither one of them really knew where I was.
Okay.
And it worked. It really worked. I am very happy for their matrimony to be over.
Yeah. Well,
So
they
then I
probably
could start
fought.
live my life.
Well, they probably fought a lot too. when you were
Dumb
married.
things.
Yeah.
Really stupid.
I mean, people get divorced for a reason. So it
No,
makes
but they were
sense.
like 5-year-olds.
Are you an only child?
No,
too?
I'm the oldest.
Okay.
I have a younger brother who's 2 years younger than I am. And then my dad got remarried. I have a sister who's 14.
Okay.
but I wish I was an only child.
No, you don't. No, did you and your brother fight a lot? My brother
lot.
and I fought a lot.
What's the age difference between you?
He's a little less than 2 years older than me. But
Same
he's
here.
also,
Same here.
Danny, he's bigger than I am.
Oh, my brother's 6'2".
Okay. Yeah. No, my brother was a football player in high school. So he would I would think I could fight him and try, and then it would just be very quickly just me succumbing to
Physically, verbally, mentally, emotionally.
physically. No, emotionally, and he still is. He's a great brother. I love him very much. We're very close. But it was like, I had the remote and I was watching my show and he'd just be like, you have to give me the remote. And I'd be like, no. And he's like, there's the easy way and there's the hard way. And I'd be like, you can't do anything to me. And then he would beat me up and take the remote. But beat me up the way a brother beats up a sister. It's not like I ended up in the hospital or anything. But yeah, he's older and he's the boy and we're Armenian. And of course the boy is, gets a lot more flexibility with everything. And so, it was always like, Daddy gets to do it. Why don't I get to do it? It's because he's a boy. Okay. You're not even hiding it. Okay.
No. When they brought my brother in, I'll never forget. They brought him over from the hospital and there was no Now I feel like our generation and parents are like, hey, Eliana, you're going to have a little baby brother.
Yeah.
And here's a gift.
Yeah.
And here's a grand entrance. And, you're responsible too. And there's that conversation
Sure.
and an understanding, getting down to the kids' level. That did not exist for me.
Of course.
Because they were so busy.
Yeah.
My dad was never home. He was always working. My mom was always in the kitchen where she belongs. So,
oh my God. Jesus.
So they brought this kid over and I remember they made this big spectacle. Oh, my grandpa is moving to the United States. He won a green card and he's coming. And everyone's like, he's coming for Levon. He's coming for Levon. And Levon is my brother. Uh-huh. And they would be like, oh, he moved overseas just so he could be closer to...
Completely forgetting there was another kid that existed for 2 years.
His grandson. And I remembered, it was probably a stupid joke or comment that someone made, and I took it, super personally.
Of course
so
you
whenever I would get attention from my grandpa, I felt like I was the best.
Yeah.
So I was, my grandpa's favorite. So I was always, I took my grandpa as my parental figure, not my parents. They were like...
Oh, okay.
I only respected him. Dogs, they only have one owner. It was kind of like that. So I couldn't really listen to anyone but him. And then they brought the kid over and I was like, so when is he leaving?
She just wanted him gone.
When is he going away?
Yeah.
They're like, he's not.
This is it forever.
So I would lock him up in my parents' room.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be in a little stroller or a little walker thing when he would so I would lock him there and he wouldn't be able to reach. And then I would go watch my Barney.
Okay.
My mom's like, where's your brother? And I'm like, no clue.
He turned out okay.
Yeah. He's great.
Okay.
He's great. He's an RN. He started his own business. He got married.
Okay.
Very nice guy.
Good. You humbled him.
I don't know about that. Humbled him. I think it was just anything I did, he kind of would be like, oh, I want to do film.
Okay.
And
but then he became an RN?
Yeah. He's very, he wanted to go into music DJ and then he's very practical and very responsible. He's a responsible.
That's how my brother is too.
Sibling.
Yeah.
Not
my brother's a financial advisor.
Yeah.
A completely different direction than I went. But it's also really nice to be related to a financial advisor because I don't know what to do with my money. I don't know how to save. I don't know.
You're not the only one.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have had a retirement plan. I mean, it was just, I needed, he's almost like a second dad in a way. Cause he's like, my dad, just do this. Just stop asking questions. Just do this.
Sona, just shut up and sign the paper.
When I was, I had saved some money. So I was thinking about getting a condo. And then my brother, he was like, yeah, you should get a condo. It's a good idea. And then after a while, I was like living by the beach at that point. I was renting and living by the beach.
Which beach?
By Santa Monica.
And you were commuting?
Yeah, commuting to Burbank.
Why would you? Well, you're going against traffic.
Yeah, it was
Okay, you're
opposite
fine.
direction. It wasn't that bad. It actually wasn't bad at all. And so, but I loved it. I loved living by the beach. And so I was telling my brother, I was like, I don't know. I think I might just rent forever because I don't want to move away. And he went, son, he goes, what do you have to show for yourself? Oh my God. Okay. So then I ended up buying a condo, which was one of the best decisions I ever made. I rent it out now, and I would never be able to afford. I have a house with my husband and we have this condo, and we never would have been able to afford it had I waited any longer to buy it. I mean, I bought it when it was still affordable. So it was a really smart decision.
That's amazing. That's clutch.
I need him. I need people like my brother to be like, just do this. Just don't ask any questions. I mean, obviously you can ask whatever questions you want, but like, just do it. Like you're not gonna be able to just rent forever if you're sitting on enough money to like put for a down payment somewhere. So that's what I ended up doing.
I love it. I understand the way that you think, because if I would give the same response.
Yeah.
It's really bad. I think that there was a point.
It's not really bad.
There was a point in the argument.
There's
my brother's
nothing
like,
wrong with it.
What have you done in your life?
Oh, Jesus. Why do they say such harsh things to us?
He texted me the other week. He's like, you are so irresponsible and full of yourself.
And he's your younger brother.
That I no longer
The nerve.
want to speak to you.
Okay. He didn't mean that. He was being dramatic.
Yeah, dramatic.
Dramatic much.
So,
but yeah, it's like, it's some people are just like that. I mean, like, there's
he's
nothing
gonna probably
wrong.
come after me for this.
No, there's nothing
Every other episode
wrong.
I'm talking crap about him.
There's nothing wrong with the way you live your life. There's nothing wrong with the way he lives it. I mean, if you are listening to this and you do rent and you're planning on renting forever, good for you. Because honestly, like, it could be a money pit to just own a place. The amount of money I spent on my places, I'm just like, I don't know. But it is, obviously there's the smart decision, but there's also the decision that you just want to do for yourself. And there's no right or wrong way to do something. It's just whatever makes you happy.
True. Amen. Do you think working with Conan, you got to that point, right, where you're an assistant? And I understand, like, I've been an assistant too, to like a producer, director, whatever. So you're there, but while you're the assistant, are you thinking, I wish I could be on screen, or, hey, I wish, how long am I going to be here for until I go to the next thing? Like, were you praying ever in your life to be where you are right now? Or do you think it was just like, it was meant to be? It was like written on your forehead?
I can't say it was meant to be. I think because
you think it's a coincidence?
I do think it's a coincidence.
What
I think
are
it's
you
a
talking about,
I
Sona?
do. I think it's a coincidence that I started working for Conan, who turned out to be like the best person I could have ever worked for. Like, my personality can only work with certain people. I'm not. In order to be a producer, you have to be a self-starter. You have to be motivated. You have to be ambitious. Like, you have to really immerse yourself in your work, right? Like, that's how producing is. I'm not that person. I don't immerse myself in my work. I don't like give myself to it completely. I'm like always thinking about an easier way to get by and do things.
You're Armenian.
I want to do well, yeah, but also there's like Armenian, like I don't know if you went to the panel that I was on for the Armenian Film Society with Natalie Kasabyan and Fulyan. I want to say her last name is Keshishan, but I got to check.
Petikyan.
Petikyan. Okay, Fulyan Petikyan.
I went to the first one that you did, where Lilith was on it, I think. No. I went to the very first one that you did years ago, pre-COVID.
Okay.
And it was you and I don't even remember the other people, but you were answering a lot of the questions. You're like, whatever, I guess I'll go first. Yeah, I don't really care. I don't know why I'm here. I'm like,
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
But I did
In LA.
I did a panel recently. This was probably like a few months before you and I met, because you came to the event
came
for
to
the
that too.
Lucy
Is Natalie
documentary.
pregnant?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
I was there.
So she was pregnant. So Natalie and Fulyan both produce things. They're
Yes.
producers.
I know both. I know of each one.
Yeah. And they're such remarkable women because you could tell
They're very smart.
they're incredibly smart. They're very
their
productive.
life.
It's their life.
life.
But they also like have lives outside of their outside of their careers too. But I will never do what they do because my personality and my approach to everything is just completely different. It just is. Like I'm very much, I put my happiness, not that they don't. I don't want to compare the two of us or the three of us, but I put my happiness with just my contentment in life first before I put anything else. So like I would rather be happy than be moving forward in my career. It's a very different kind of thing.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Are
it's
your
not like
parents
my
like
parents.
that? Your grandparents? Did something happen to you in your life where you're like, this is fine?
No. I don't know. But like, so when I started as Conan's assistant, I was like, let's see where this leads. And they wanted like a 5-year commitment for me when I first started. And I was like,
As an assistant?
Yeah, I was like, I can't be someone's assistant for 5 years.
No.
But then 5 years came and went. And I was like, I could do this job forever.
And watch Gigolo part-time.
And what? I could do it. I could just bring it. Give it to me. I'll do this job forever. And I loved what I was doing, even though I was assisting him. And for a lot of people, that's looked at as like a stepping stone to something else.
Yeah.
But there are also, I met a lot of career assistants who have assisted their entire careers and were very happy doing it. And there's just certain people who just find what they like to do. And I really liked assisting Conan. I don't know if I would like assisting anybody else, but I really loved assisting him. And I loved working with him. I loved working for him. He's just like, he really, I guess, like, what's the word I want to say? He really like elevates the people around him. And that's what he does.
And that's why he's so successful.
Yeah.
Because people who don't do that don't. Yeah, people who don't do that, they don't last for so long. They might last for 20 years, but that's pretty much it.
Well, it's insecurity that leads a lot of people not to do that because they don't want to elevate people around them if they're worried those people are going to become like higher than them, which Conan doesn't have to worry about that because he's reached a certain level of success that a lot of people want. And I'm never going to be more famous than Conan. And so even though that's not even like what he would be worried about, but he's got such security when it comes to that. I think even he might not show it, but I think it's deep down in him, and he elevates the people around him. So, and I think that as nice as people are when they talk about me, like you say some really nice things about me, but I think that my whole career revolves around Conan. I don't think I'm funny without Conan. I don't think that anybody would necessarily care about me if I wasn't working for Conan. And I think that
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Because the magic happens when you two are together.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked if you were anyone else's assistant. You wouldn't even have the screen time.
Exactly.
He's the only on brand with your personality that makes sense. It's like a formula that you can't change.
And it's not something I wanted. I didn't want to be on camera.
So I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it happened for a reason, for you to just have this career and have this life and be happy with what you're doing. You might feel like, oh, well, this is fine, but you just never know what's going to come after that. So I want to get to the point. So when you were introduced to the game or were in the game, I remember being on the Warner Brothers lot when I was 18 and just like networking with everyone. So I was a development intern. I would have to read scripts. I hated reading and writing. Hated it. So I would hire my friends to do it who were not there. And they would be writing it up, my little English major friends from GCC. And I would go and just network. I would network with the head chef. I would go to Conan's office, like I told you earlier, and just hang out.
It's so funny.
To with the receptionist. I'm like, hey, they're like, hey, Suze, how are you? I'm like, good. So what's going on? And whenever you did the whole special thing, I'm like, I'm going to go say hi to Sona, but you were never at your desk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds on brand for me.
And then I went to, I would walk to my car and I would see Mr. Eastwood and he would be like, ma'am. And I'm like, oh, hi, Mr. Eastwood. How are you? He's like, great. Good to see you. And the other interns, we were a lot of them, would be like, how could you talk to that director, that producer, that person? Are you not intimidated? I'm like, absolutely not. I did not care.
Yeah.
I would get in trouble all the time. Where's Susie? Where's Susie? Susie's like, phew, in and out. They're not paying me. I'm not on contract. I could do whatever I want. I'd be having like a 3-hour lunch.
Well, that's what you're supposed to talk to people. You're supposed to be visible. I mean, I did that a lot when I was working at NBC before I started working for Conan, because I worked in the events department. So it was really easy for me to see and talk to people from different departments, because I was able to because we were at events. We were at parties, rap parties, premiere parties, press conferences, whatever. And then that's how I met this guy named Mark Lippis, who was the publicist for Conan's late night show. And so when I was interviewing to be Conan's assistant, I just texted him and I was like, can you put in a good word for me? And he did.
Nice.
And that's, if there was nobody else that I had networked with, just networking with or getting to know Mark was all I needed. And I was able to get my job.
Oh, 100%. So I remember you. So
but I don't network anymore. I don't do it that much.
It just depends, right?
Yeah.
You come to a point where you're like, whatever. But I remember being like, okay, I'm the only Armenian female that I know that's working in Hollywood, like real people that are doing real things, not your U.S. Not to talk down to US Armenia or any other network, but like if you're gonna go and do the thing, go with the top producers, top directors, if you could get in there. But it's like a little mafia, right?
There's a good number of us.
There's like little keys you have to try before you get in there.
There's a good number of us.
But no, like as a minority to enter the industry back in 2008, 2009, it's a totally different game.
Yeah.
Interns were not getting paid. The interns from Black Swan, Natalie Portman's movie, sued the studios, and now you kind of get paid.
They need to get some sort of compensation. Yeah. I don't know how it works, because we did have a pool of interns who were unpaid for a long time. And then, I don't know if we don't have interns now, but
there's like laws and regulations to it now. But I remember being an intern with like 15 other kids, not getting paid, and all these kids are like trust fund babies. It's like, yeah, my mom is like the princess of blah blah blah. Oh yeah, my dad, he wrote this movie with so and so, and they're like, who are you? I was like, I just literally cold called and I got in.
Yeah, but then you know what? Armenians have an advantage that not a lot of people do, which is no one's kicking you out of your house when you're 18. No one is saying go get a job and move out. Or if you go to college and you get a degree and it's totally fine culturally for you to come back home, Jed. Like, it's like
you don't leave until you get married.
You don't leave until you get married. So how much does that ease up the pressure for Armenians to like chase something that is really, really difficult to chase, knowing that you have that support system? So I was different. I was like, I need to move out of the house after I graduate from college. So I did. And every single time my parents were like, you can come home at any time, at any minute, just come home. Your room is exactly the way you left it. They're like, come home. It was like an anomaly that I moved out. And I, was able to take jobs where like I started off as an NBC page and I was making $9 and I think it got bumped up to 10 working part-time. So I was working like 20 something hour weeks, making $10 an hour. So I was making nothing. And my parents were there as like a safety net, just being like, if this doesn't work out, I can always move back home. And there's no part of my home life that's going to be like, you need to leave. You need to get out. We need to stop taking care of you, because that's not how Armenians are.
No, absolutely not.
So, while you are with these trust fund babies and these like kids who have all these connections in entertainment, we also have an advantage where, no one's saying move out, make money and move out as soon as possible. People are like, as long as you're making an effort to get a job, your parents are always going to support you. And it's a really, really beautiful advantage Armenians have.
Massive, massive.
Yeah.
But now 10 years down the road, 15 down, finally you have like a number of Armenian female names coming into fruition.
Yeah.
But everyone at these events, I'm like, I know when their career started. I was like in the background. No one knows my name. No one knows that I worked on I worked with Scorsese. I worked with the Marvelous Miss Maisel crew. I I've done a lot, but I've never been on a panel. I never talked about it. And I was always like, hush, I would just like not hang out with Armenians.
Why?
In the entertainment business, because those people are not going to help me propel to get to where I want to be. Like,
Yeah.
at the time,
Okay.
at the time when I was like 18, 19, 20 and
Yeah.
everyone was just starting out. So you just like get your little clique. And I was always with the non-Armenians who their dad was like so-and-so. And that's how I was like booking other gigs and like
Yeah.
building my network.
It's a hustle.
The Armenians are always there. Their contact is immediate to me. I don't need to work on that. That's just like a unspoken rule. They come to me, same thing. I'll help them, no problem. But what I'm realizing, and my mom would always say, she's like, the immigrant kids that came here in the 80s and 90s, give them 30 years, they're gonna end up being finally gonna be at a place where it's good for them. Not their parents, but for them.
Yeah.
They'll be the directors, the producers, the creators, the business entrepreneurs.
It's hard.
Finally, we're at that point where things are coming to fruition, right? We've been like, our parents have been like watering us over and over again to get somewhere. But one thing I've noticed about Armenian women in Hollywood, there's only 20 of them, and that's it.
Well, there's a lot behind the scenes too.
There is.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, like, I am so happy that you are on a podcast with a name like Conan. So it could inspire the 15-year-old who just follows you because of your last name and listens to it and says, hey, maybe I do want to go into comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of Armenian parents wouldn't want that, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's shunned upon. What do you mean you want to be an artist? Unless you have money, then yeah, sure. But a lot of them don't come from such a privileged background.
Yeah.
And even with producers and whatnot, that's great. But like we have like Angela Sarafian, right? Finally, we have a girl on HBO. That's nice. Actors and actresses and singers where they find out they're like part Armenian. So let's do a special on PBS.
Yeah. I'll take a part Armenian. I'll take someone who's like a 16th or a 30.
Like we have a Cher, we have a Kerkorian, we have all these, but it's the same people over and over again. You will never see a late night host. Thank goodness for Lily Singh.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if her show's still around.
It's not.
Yeah, because it doesn't work. It's these male, and I want to get to the point where it's like Saturday Night Live top people and like late night, because I was a late night kid. Like I grew up, I was like, oh, I would dream to have my own late night show. I would like dream to play every day with these people. But Lily Singh, when she got there, I was like, oh, that's so exciting. Oh, no, she's not there anymore. It's like,
it's different. You know, I do think it's changing. I think a lot of people have that same sort of thing where they want more representation. I think it's very important that that's happening. I do. But also now it's not just late night, because not everybody is watching late night anymore. Like I don't even have cable anymore. And I worked on a basic cable show for over 10 years and I don't have any cable. And I think that a lot of it's changing now. Like you have this podcast and there's a lot of women who have podcasts. There's a lot of women who have YouTube shows. There's a lot of women who have shows on different like networks and they find their audiences. It's very like, it's getting easier for certain people to reach an audience. Is it going to be a massive audience like before? I don't know. I don't think so. And I don't know if anyone's going to have a huge audience like they did before. But I think that there's now like, I think there's room for a lot of different voices to come into it. And I think even behind the scenes, I was behind the scenes for Conan for a long time before he put me in front of the camera. And so, you know, even educating someone like Conan O'Brien behind the scenes, not even on camera, about Armenian issues, letting him hear the Armenian language, talking to him about my Armenian family, that alone, educating someone that important, it like plants a seed in them. It's like inception. Like you're putting this idea in their brain. So then like all these things I did all of a sudden in like 2015, when he has to choose a country to go to, it's like that little seed that I planted all these years talking about who I am, my family, my culture, all of a sudden that came into play and then that became an episode on television. Do you know what I mean? So even though it's not very in your face, Armenians who are behind the scenes and are educating other powerful people about our culture and our stories, it lights a flame in a way to like make these stories be told somehow. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's just a matter of time before, you know, we have, before some Armenian producers decide to produce movies about Armenian culture that people can watch and stuff. And
Have you
like,
seen Amerikatsi?
I have.
It's so good.
Is it?
It's really good. It's
Yeah.
been winning I think it's won over 20 awards in Europe.
Wow. Okay. Well, how can I watch it?
It comes out, they got distribution, it'll be out in September.
Okay.
But it's so well written. It's so well done. It's so refreshing. It's so good. And it's not a story that you've seen on screen before, but you've heard of it before.
Yeah.
A lot of the Armenians that went back to Armenia during the Soviet Union, during Stalin's times. So it's really funny. It's really dark. It's really good. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Now, if we could just multiply this by 10 times so we feel like we have a good share in the market. And the only reason why I say this is because I grew up in the industry. There's people that don't care. Like,
well, I think a lot of people would care. If there was like, let's say a children's show, that
on Nickelodeon.
And they're like the main person or one of the kids in it was an Armenian kid. Like people get excited.
Tallinn.
Yeah. Tallinn. Tallinn is like.
Well, Tallinn is the kids.
Yeah.
But imagine like it was like
or more Angela Sarafians or more, like more Natalie Kasabians, more Fulian Petikians, like more people, and they're there. They're young. They're there. They're like building their way up to that.
Yeah.
It takes time.
I just want an Oscar.
I
Best
know.
Picture.
But we're also, if you think about it, we're relatively speaking, we're a very small community. And so it takes time. And I think there is an older generation and an older thought that kind of permeates everything where people think that you need to have so many connections in order to just break into the industry.
No, you just need talent and work hard.
And you need determination.
Work really, really, really hard and you'll get there.
Exactly. So I think that like it seems like this unachievable kind of thing for a lot of people.
I think
it is. Like it's not it's unachievable. I mean it's going to take seems time. Like that because it is hard.
Yeah.
But I mean if you put in the time and you put up with a lot for a while, then you eventually get to a point where you feel good about yourself and you feel good about the things that you're doing and you feel good about the money that you're making and you're happy and I mean I don't know. I talk to a lot of young Armenian kids who are interested in breaking into the industry. And I'm like, just do the work. Just do the work and be good at it and have a really good attitude. And people pay attention to that.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say something though. Like if I think about like an Armenian female, male, I could see it. I don't know why. I'm just very in that world where I love it when they're like, it doesn't make a difference. It does when it comes down to work and stuff. I mean, we're still working through all of that. But when I was a kid, they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm like, oh, I want to be on SNL. They're like, good luck.
Yeah. I mean.
No, I was like 12. They're like, good luck.
Yeah.
My mom would be like, your last name is not Goldberg. I'm not dating a Jewish man.
Oh.
And how? And I remember like people laughing at me saying, how do you think you're going to get to Warner Brothers? And I literally would just pray and I'd be like, look, if this is meant for me, let it happen. And then next thing you know, one thing led to the next and I was there. And then the same people that were laughing at me were now wanting a job.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I can't do anything for you. I'm a nobody. So I don't know how I'm going to get you in here. But like just thinking about, okay, if that's possible, cool. And then I'm like, now my dreams have completely evolved. I was like, I want to have my own like Sirius XM channel. Mm-hmm. But in order to get there, it's going to take me 10 years.
It's going to take, who knows? There's no time to anything. Like you might have listened to someone who said, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years and I finally got my Sirius XM channel, right? But there's also a possibility that someone listens to something that you did and likes it and it takes you 2 years instead of 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that like I think putting rules on things does a disservice, because then you think, okay, like, this is what I have to do. Like, when I first graduated from SE, everyone said I should work for an agent at an agency.
Yeah.
So that was what I was looking at. I was like UTA, CAA,
Yeah.
well, at the time
The
it
top
was Endeavor,
4.
William Morris,
Yeah.
whatever. And then I would like meet with these agents, and a lot of them were fine. And then I would hear from people, I'm like, well, yeah, they want you to work in an agency, because if you work for an agent, they will thicken your skin.
Oh.
Like, they abuse you to the point where you can handle anything that comes after it.
People go through mental breakdowns.
Yeah. And I was
know.
like, that's not what I want. That's not the job I don't want to thicken my skin. I don't want to be one of those people that feels like you have to put in years of dues in order to get to a certain point. I'm like,
I don't understand that. I know someone that was in that rut for a while and she quit and she never came back.
yeah, it's because it's not even just agents. It's a lot of people in the industry. What's good about what I think is happening is now people are being called out a lot for like mistreatment or like doing something inappropriate. And it's, before, when I first started in entertainment in 2006, when I graduated college, I remember like thinking, okay, I have to prepare myself to deal with anything. People can say anything to me. They can like act a certain way to me, and I have to just take it.
So weird. I was the same way.
Because you think that's what you have to do.
The things that I've seen.
Yeah.
And the things that have come my way. Lawsuit after lawsuit.
Lawsuit after lawsuit.
Lawsuit after. I would be retired on an island right now. Lawsuit after lawsuit.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
And-
Because I wanted to work in it.
Because you want to work in it. So you think, okay, I have to just put up with this, and you have to deal with this. And then I remember when everything was happening with the Me Too movement, and the person that they got, who was the biggest sort of producer, was Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
And in the reality I lived in 2006, when I first started working in television, he's untouchable. Like, there's nothing you could do, because he is the most powerful person in the entire entertainment industry. And I think that when now seeing him, and he's probably going to end up in prison and die in prison, like, who knows what's going to happen with him, you realize that the people who work for him and worked with him are the people who have the most amount of power, and it's amplified because of social media. So like, now if you're mistreated, you go on Twitter and you say, hey, this person mistreated. It's like what happened with Ellen. It's like, this person mistreated me. I was mistreated on this show. And then you have a bunch of other people who say those same stories. And then you realize people now have to be held accountable. Like, the era where you can be openly mistreated is hopefully ending. Like, I'm hoping that's what's going to happen, is that everybody just now has to be on their best behavior.
I hope so too. I remember going to an interview for one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. He has a movie just dedicated on his character. Like, who plays in that? That guy got smacked in Me Too as well. House of Cards.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey did a movie called Swimming with Sharks.
Oh, yeah.
About a specific guy who I was going to work for.
Okay.
So I went into the interview. Best interview I've ever had. Like Glass House, Beverly Hills, valet, security. You walk in there, it's like LACMA doesn't even have that much money. He collects art, whatever. I would be his second assistant, not even his first. So I went through the interview process, and his art director looked at me and she said, if you did not have a job, because I was doing clearances and whatnot, she's like, if you did not have a job, I would give this to you because I know he'll like you. Because you have to be very quick. 2 minutes. If he wants a chair, that chair needs to be in LA, New York, San Francisco within a week. Yeah. You'll figure it out. You're smart. And the way that you are, she's like, are you from New York? I'm like, no, I'm from LA. She's like, oh, he'll love you. And she's like, but I'm not giving. If you want it, it's yours. But I think you deserve better.
Oh, wow.
Because your day does not end until he sits down for dinner. And if he's having dinner with the editor of Vogue or the mayor of New York, and they have allergies, and the chef screws up, even though you've done it a million times, it's all on you.
Yeah.
Do you want that treatment? I said no, and I left. And there's people that are like, you're crazy. That was a once in a lifetime opportunity. I said, no, I'm just not going to be a slave to anyone.
No, it
A
depends on what you want.
glorified slave.
There are people who would gladly do that job and happily do whatever is needed, but like
Second assistant. It's
yeah, but
like
second assistants usually
Devil
become
Wears Prada.
first or move on to something else. Like, you know,
the
but,
first assistant loved her position. I was never going to get it.
okay. Yeah. I mean, I felt bad for everybody who was like a PA for me or an intern because I was like, I'm not leaving this job. Like, I'm not going anywhere.
And that's what you get in the industry too. You move around until you wiggle your way where there's a door that you can step into because everyone's blocking you.
That's true. It's true.
Everyone's blocking your game.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's funny because when people ask me about how I got my job working for Conan, I really just applied and interviewed. Like, it's that simple.
That's incredible.
It's such a boring kind of story because nothing, like, it's not like I talked to this person and this person was like, oh, there's this thing, you got to apply it this time, you have to send it to this person. Like,
so I still think you're crazy for saying it was a coincidence, it was meant to be. I mean, the fact that you even were like an applicant.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that when I did the first interview with our line producer, and then the second interview was with Conan and two other producers. I felt like after I left the second interview, I was like, I clicked with Conan. Like, I know that interview went well. And I felt really good about it. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I got this job. Like, I had and then I found out that night, like, it was that quick. They had slimmed it down from 10 applicants to 4. So I was one of the 4 people who was going into the second interview with Conan. And I think he was just like, she seems fine. Let's just hire her.
Yeah.
And,
I got to go grab dinner and let's just move on with the show.
That's how it is.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's how it was. And then it just really worked out for both of us. I hope for him too, but I know that like I really love what I do. I love how supportive he's been of me. Yeah. Like when I told him I wanted to write a book, he was like, I'm going to write the foreword and I'll help you promote it. And he did.
Why did you want to write a book?
I wanted to remodel my kitchen. Like that's really with the advance money.
Oh. So do you like your kitchen?
I like it. Yeah, I did it.
What's the vibe that you went for?
I mean, I hate saying it's not. I mean, hang on.
Is it like saying that I did it for French chic?
Well, I live in a Japanese kind of Japanese-inspired mid-century house, and so that's
is this in Glendale?
It's in Altadena.
Oh.
So I that was initially what I wanted to do. I was like, I need money to remodel my kitchen. I'm going to write a book and hopefully I'll get enough money. But then it turned into sort of, I think when people's attitudes about work changed, I think there's like a younger generation of people who are like, I'm not going to make work my whole life. I don't know.
Gen Z.
They're like, I don't know why we have to like kill ourselves for our jobs. Why not just go do our jobs, get paid for it, and then go live a life?
Do you not see the memes and like the little clips on Instagram where it's like the boomer, the Gen X, the 80s people, kids, millennials, and Gen Z. So the boomer, like it's like a meeting on like Zoom, and like the boomer is like, "Oh my God, so great to have you. Well, it's Monday. It's like my favorite day of the week." And then the 80s Gen X is like, "Oh, can we move this? I'm working on something." And then the millennials like having an iced coffee, and they're like, "Oh, so annoying. I guess I have to be on this call." Yeah. And then Gen Z is not there. No, they're not at work.
It's so funny. I'm raising 2-year-old boys now who are going to grow up. And I'm like, I have to accept that their whole attitude towards everything is going to be very different from mine.
It's very selfish.
I don't even think it's selfish.
It's very much about...
It's not selfish.
You don't think it's selfish?
I don't think it's selfish. I think that people have been calling younger generations entitled since younger generations have existed, since the beginning of time. Like, I think
it's just the haters.
I think that there's always going to be this disconnect between older generations and how they did things and younger generations. So, like, I'm technically an older millennial. That's like what field I live in but also I remember an analog life, and I also know what a digital life is like. Like, I know both.
Yeah.
And I think that I've met some over the years, some interns that we've had who have a very different attitude towards interning than I did. And so people would say like, oh, they're entitled. They're these kids. They're very selfish. They're very entitled. But I also think that these kids have gone through a lot more than we've gone through. Like, there's a younger generation that's coming up.
Like a pandemic?
It's a pandemic. It's terrorist attacks. It's mass shootings. It's like they're all dealing with post-traumatic stress, a lot of them. Like I would have earthquake drills in my school, and we rarely had earthquakes. But then there's these kids who are having active shooter drills, and then they see stories all the time about shootings in schools.
So sad.
And so it's different. It's a very different environment that they're moving into. Like now, imagine trying to buy a house in LA now, Like
I was going to say that, like, we can't afford anything.
the people can't afford any, and it's not a fault of your own. It's not like you guys aren't working as hard or whatever. It's just how hard it is. It's so hard to buy things. So there's this whole generation of kids who are like, I can't afford kids. I can't afford to have kids. I can't afford to buy a house. And I think that we have to I think for me, especially since I'm raising two boys now, I have to realize they're going to come to me one day and just be like, look, I just need some money to build a VR world that I'm living in. I just need I need to buy a plot of land in this VR world. And instead of being like, ugh, you kids, I don't get you, I'll just be like, I need you to explain that to me and tell me how that benefits your life, and I'll help you. I think that I think it's really important to try to figure out what this generation is what motivates them, and how to harness that, and how to see how we can use it to help us. I don't know. I mean, I just think it's different. I don't think that they don't have ambition.
Now I'm jealous.
Why? Why?
Because the mindset is very much about what's really and truly important at that moment.
That's true.
I've noticed 13 and 14-year-olds are they're just like, they don't care. They're hippies. They're kind of like hippies.
I think they're more.
Have you seen the way that they dress?
No. But do you know people have said that about us?
I was dressed
Or they've said that
fine.
about you? You probably were not. There were probably people who were like, oh, what is she wearing?
I mean, I would get sent to the principal's office because of my crop top and my ripped Abercrombie jeans.
Okay.
But that's way cuter than sweats that are and slippers that look like you just did county time. And just no colors. There are no colors. No one is smiling. It's like Daria, but really, really, really dark.
I don't know. I mean, I have a 10-year-old niece, and she seems like
colorful.
She's colorful.
Thank the
She
Lord.
likes things. I think it depends on who you're looking at.
Burbank High, you come out, everyone's wearing black, nude, white, gray, dark brown. There's no more pizzazz.
I don't know. I mean, I can't say I know a lot of teenagers, so
Maybe those are the
sure.
Armenian kids.
It could be. I don't know. I have no idea. It could be. Do you know a lot of younger Armenian kids? Do you ever talk to them and ask them why they approach things that way?
Not really, no. But no. I'm more in tune with 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That crew. And they like going out, doing board games.
Sure.
Or maybe I'm hanging out with these nerds. I don't know. But when I was 19, I had a fake ID and I just came from Palm Springs. It's Monday night. So I'm going to go to Monday Night Social and I'm going to lie to the security guard and I'm going to go up on stage and Gabriel Dresden is this trans DJ and I'm totally going to meet the people that are behind the stage and then end up trying to promote a nightclub on a Thursday night. That was me as a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
You ask a 19-year-old hey, y'all know where the hookup is? And they're like, oh, you want to go to Starbucks and just play Jenga? And I'm like, what?
So fun. I know. I mean, I was a kid who went out a lot, but I don't know. I think it just depends. So recently I went to a community college. I went to Mount San Antonio College, which is near Cal Poly Pomona.
Okay.
I went there before I transferred to USC. And this year they named me Alumna of the Year, which was a really
Where?
At Mount Sac. For the college, they named me Alumna of the Year.
Very glamorous.
Super.
Rolling out the red carpet.
Yeah, it was really very cool. It was like that school, so after high school, I never would have gotten into SC. But after Mount Sac, I got into SC with grants and like I was able to go there and like get my degree from there and stuff. So I really loved the whole community college experience. And I always tell people, if you can't afford it, don't know what you want to do, go to a community college.
Love a good community college.
So I spoke to a lot of the students when I was as part of like being Alumna of the Year. I would go back of like maybe 2 or 3 times and like talk to a lot of the students that were there. And I was very aware of how much older I was than them. And I remember being their age and I was constantly thinking, how are things different? And you realize like these kids, a lot of them, you know, some of these kids were transferring to UCLA, to Berkeley. They had ambition. They knew what they wanted to do. They were like majoring in very specific things and knew what career they wanted to get into. Mm-hmm. So I think that when people tend to talk about like how different the younger generation is.
Yeah.
There's still so many similarities. They want interaction with other people. They want to have a job that makes them fulfilled and pays them well. Like they want the same sort of very basic things that we wanted, you know, and they might approach it differently or they might have a different attitude about it. But I think that they still like, it's still there in a different way, you know?
And I think the benefit that your kids and hopefully my future kids have is that, say like I notice the talent that my kid has, I'm gonna bank on it if they choose that they want to do that.
Right. Yeah. Like
you want to be a little Ariana Grande, let's do it.
That's cool.
I will be your stage mom. I will be Kris Jenner. I will give birth to 5 beautiful, half Armenian, half God knows what children.
Yeah.
Take the Armenian last name.
Yeah.
Just bank it.
I mean, it worked for her and it worked for all of them, right?
I'm all about it. And then there's people like, how can you sell your child? I was like, look, if they really want to do it, go for it. I mean,
if it's what they want to do. Yeah. I mean, like you can't force things onto people who don't want to do it. Otherwise, like,
some people were from Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Or, you know, that, what's her name? Jeanette McCurdy. Is that right? She wrote that memoir. I'm happy my mom is dead. Like,
I can't even look at that book.
It's just an example
but I heard
of
it was great.
Pushed into something. I haven't read it. I need to read it. I wish I read more books.
Selena Gomez was also pushed too. Yeah,
like pushed into something they don't want to do. It gives them so many mental health issues later in life.
Well, a lot of the kids, majority of them, not everyone, but child star actors, singers, dancers, they end up having a lot of trauma.
Well, I think a lot of
issues,
them,
mental issues.
Yeah, a lot of them too are their parents are just like living vicariously through them and like trying to push a life that they wanted for themselves onto their kids. Sounds like
me.
No, it's
work harder, monkey. Work harder.
The difference with you is
Mama
you were
needs
like,
a mortgage
if it's what they
paid off.
want. Yeah, if it's what they want. You said that, which is very different already.
Mommy needs her G-Wagon. Matte black rims galore. Okay, so you go do that promo and look good.
That's so funny.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Oh yeah,
we've
been
here for like an hour.
Girl. Okay.
More than an hour. I'm not sure. An hour and 30. That's a 3 episode. I think I'm gonna like do 30-minute, 40-minute episode. I don't know. I'm still editing and
yeah.
We'll see. I just can't listen to something more than 30, 40 minutes. Unless it's something
that
I really love.
Our interviews are about 45 minutes long.
45 minutes?
Yeah. And 45 minutes
How
to
often do you record?
We release an episode every year. And we used to take breaks in between seasons, but now we just plow through it. And so we release an episode every Monday and Thursday. And we bank them. So we'll record like a few one week and then a few another week, and then Conan will travel or something, and then we won't record for like a week or 2, and then we'll go back. And so maybe like 2 to 3 a week, but
Are you doing this from home or you're in a studio?
we're in the studio.
That's good.
I know. It's nice. It's nice to be in person. We did over the pandemic, we did it remotely, and it lost its juice.
The juice is not there anymore.
Yeah, it was
But
still fun, but it was, it's much more fun in person.
I hope you had fun here.
I did. This is great. This is a lot of fun.
Were you bored?
No, I didn't even realize an hour and a half went by.
Oh, I'm really happy.
How do you
about
feel?
that.
Do you feel good about it?
I feel good. I feel good. I feel great. As long as my guest is happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Happy guest, happy life. No, for me, this is definitely playtime.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I have a really good time, and I like the conversations to go deep and everywhere and maybe nowhere and on the surface or whatever. But I love your very cool vibe. You're very cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you invited me.
Yeah, and I wish you many, many success.
Thank you.
And I hope we cross paths one day.
Sure we will.
And I'm just happy that I only went to that event to just like ask you a question.
Do you like how you're like, I have a podcast, I'm like, I want to be on it?
Literally.
Yeah.
And then
I
there was,
invited
like,
myself before you even had a chance to invite me.
so
I
that-
invited myself.
Yeah. No, that's the best. I'm the same way. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's just like her brain functions that way too. Not a lot of people's brains function that quickly. You're just like, you get to the point and I'm like, oh, okay, she's cool.
Yeah.
I think I probably have ADHD or ADD undiagnosed, some on the spectrum, because my brain just jumps.
Yeah. I get that.
So when someone knows how to jump the hoop, I was like, da-da-da-da, circus town, circus town. And our little guest over here, Sona. And everyone's like, yay. And you're just like,
What happened?
but thank you. You're the best.
All right. It's my pleasure.
You are welcome to the basement anytime you'd like.
Happy. Anytime, if I have to be here for like a funeral or
Just come down
I'll
here.
just make my way down here and hopefully you'll be here. Even if you're not, I'll call you and then we'll just do it over the phone.
Let's do
while
it.
I'm here. Yeah.
Why not? Sona Movsesian, incredible. You do it. You do the damn thing. Thank you.
All right.